Alex gripped the controls of his small spacecraft as it trembled violently. A sudden meteor storm had caught him off guard, and sparks flew across the dashboard. The navigation system blinked red, warning him of imminent system failure. Sweat ran down his temple as he fought to stabilize the ship. He was a young pilot, trained for emergencies, but nothing could have prepared him for this. The ship shuddered again, and a loud bang echoed through the cabin. Warning lights flared as the engine sputtered. Alex cursed under his breath and quickly calculated his options. There was a nearby planet on the scanner, a lush, uncharted world with dense forests and glowing lakes. It wasn't on any official maps, but it was his only hope. He steered the ship toward the planet, his hands shaking. The atmosphere was thicker than normal, and the entry was rough. The ship groaned and twisted as it passed through layers of clouds and strange electrical storms. Finally, with a thunderous crash, it landed on a soft, moss-covered clearing. The impact threw Alex forward, but he managed to grab the controls and stabilize the ship just enough to avoid a total disaster. The cabin was silent except for the occasional hiss of the damaged systems. Alex unbuckled his seatbelt and took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. He looked around the unfamiliar terrain through the cracked viewport. The forest beyond the clearing shimmered with an otherworldly glow. Strange, tall plants swayed even though there was no wind, and tiny lights danced like fireflies. It was beautiful, but eerie. Alex opened the cockpit hatch, and a cool breeze filled the cabin. The air smelled fresh, like rain mixed with sweet flowers. He stepped onto the ground, taking careful steps. Every sound of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the distant hum of strange creatures made him feel both curious and cautious. He had landed on a planet that no human had officially explored before. As he surveyed the area, he noticed a structure in the distance. It looked like a small home made of smooth, glowing materials that seemed alive. The walls pulsed gently, as if breathing. Alex frowned, wondering who or what might live there. With no immediate threat and nowhere else to go, he decided to investigate. The closer he got, the more he realized how alien the architecture was. The home had no straight lines. Everything curved and flowed naturally. Strange symbols etched along the walls glimmered faintly, and the door opened silently as if sensing his presence. Alex stepped inside, feeling a mixture of awe and nervousness inside. The air was warm and comforting. Soft light filled the space, and delicate patterns of floating luminescence moved across the walls. Alex felt a strange sense of calm wash over him, though he couldn't explain why. That's when he saw her. She was tall, taller than any human he had ever seen, with skin that shimmered like silver blue metal. Her hair flowed like liquid light, and her eyes reflected stars, deep and endless. Alex froze. He had encountered alien life before, but nothing like this. She looked at him with a mixture of surprise and sadness. "Who are you?" she asked softly, her voice melodic, like wind through crystal. "I'm Alex," he replied cautiously. "I'm a human pilot. My ship, it crashed. I didn't mean to." She held up a delicate hand, stopping him. "It does not matter," she said. "You are here now. That is all that matters." Alex studied her carefully. She seemed calm, but there was something in her eyes that made him pause. It was sorrow, deep and endless, like a sea that had no shore. "Are you alone?" he asked. Her lips curved in a faint, sad smile. "Yes, I have been alone for some time. I hate sleeping alone," she admitted. Her voice wavered just slightly, betraying a vulnerability she tried to hide. Alex felt a tug at his heart. He had traveled across galaxies, faced dangers, and seen battles, but he had never encountered someone so clearly lonely. Despite the fear and strangeness of the situation, he felt a surprising urge to help her. "I can stay for a while," he said, "just until I can repair my ship." Her eyes softened, and she nodded. "That would be kind." Over the next few hours, Alex explored the home. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Furniture seemed grown from the walls themselves, smooth and soft, yet sturdy. Tools and devices floated in the air, adjusting automatically when he touched them. Strange plants glimmered in pots that seemed to hum quietly. Every detail reflected a civilization that was advanced, yet in harmony with nature. Liara, he learned that was her name, showed him around. She explained that her species had lived peacefully for thousands of years, before war had taken away her partner. The planet had been her sanctuary ever since. She spoke with a gentle pride about her world, but Alex could hear the grief beneath her words. As night fell, the forest outside seemed to come alive. The glowing plants lit the clearing, casting shadows that danced across the walls. Alex prepared a small meal from the supplies he had salvaged from his ship, while Liara prepared a warm drink from her own resources. They ate in silence for a while, each absorbed in their thoughts. Finally, Liara spoke. Humans, they are so small, yet so strong, so determined. She looked at Alex with an intensity that made him blush slightly. You survived storms and space, and yet here you are, offering kindness. It is unusual. Alex shrugged, trying to hide his nerves. I guess I just don't like seeing someone in pain. Alone, her eyes glimmered with unshed tears. You are very human, she said softly. That is not a bad thing. The night grew deeper, and the strange hum of the forest outside mixed with the soft, rhythmic glow of her home. Alex found himself exhausted from the crash, the long walk, and the strange emotions that had filled the day. Liara noticed and gestured toward a sleeping area that seemed grown from the walls themselves. Soft and enveloping, you may rest here, she said. It is safe. I will be nearby. You do not have to be alone. Alex hesitated. He had never shared space with anyone like this before, and yet there was a comfort in her presence. Thank you, he said quietly, lying down on the soft surface. Liara stood by the glowing doorway, watching him for a moment. Then, with a soft sigh, she settled into her own area nearby. The air between them was quiet, but it was no longer empty. It was filled with an unspoken understanding, a fragile trust forming between two beings from entirely different worlds. As Alex drifted into sleep, he could hear her soft, melodic voice whisper, almost to herself, "Stay, little human. I hate sleeping alone." The words were simple, yet they carried the weight of her loneliness and her hope. He dreamed of glowing forests and strange floating lights, and in those dreams, he felt a connection to the alien widow beside him. He woke before dawn to find her watching the forest, eyes reflecting the first rays of the alien sun. "Good morning," he said softly. Trying not to startle her, she smiled faintly, a mix of warmth and melancholy. "Good morning, Alex. You slept well?" "I did, surprisingly well," he admitted. "You're home. It's incredible." Liara's gaze drifted to the horizon. "It is my sanctuary," she said, "but it feels emptier without someone to share it." She looked at him directly, and for the first time, her sadness seemed tempered by gratitude. "You have brought a small light to it, little human." Alex smiled, feeling the weight of her words. Despite being stranded on an unknown planet, despite the challenges ahead, he felt needed. It was a strange and powerful feeling. He realized that this first day, though filled with fear and uncertainty, had brought him to a place where he could make a real difference, not with weapons or machines, but with simple acts of presence and compassion. The morning air smelled sweet and alive, and the alien home glowed faintly as if welcoming a new day. Alex knew he could not leave immediately, not yet. He wanted to understand this world, to help Liara in whatever small way he could. And as he watched her move gracefully around her home, tending to strange glowing devices and plants, he felt a budding sense of purpose. In the days to come, Alex would learn more about her culture, about the planet's mysteries, and about the quiet, enduring strength of this alien widow. But for now, the first step had been taken. A bond was forming, fragile but genuine, and the first night of safety and trust had been shared. Liara watched him one last time before she settled into her own space. The words left her lips softly, almost like a prayer. "Stay, little human. I hate sleeping alone." And for the first time in a long while, Alex felt that maybe, just maybe, being stranded on an alien planet wasn't the worst thing that could happen to a human. The morning sun rose slowly over the alien forest, casting soft golden light through the glowing foliage. Alex stretched and rubbed his eyes, still amazed by the world he had landed on. Every tree, every plant, seemed alive in ways he had never imagined. Tiny motes of light floated like fireflies, and the air carried a gentle hum that resonated with everything around him. Liara was already awake, moving gracefully around the home. Her presence was calm and steady, like a lighthouse in the strange new world. Alex watched as she tended to delicate glowing devices and plants that responded to her touch, pulsing brighter or dimming softly. "Good morning, Alex," she said without turning. Her voice was melodic, soft, and comforting. "Did you sleep well?" "I did," Alex replied, standing and stretching. "You're home. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it." Liara glanced at him and smiled faintly. "It is my sanctuary, but it is not complete without company. That is why I am glad you stayed." Alex felt a small warmth in his chest at her words. For someone so otherworldly, she had a strangely human feeling, lonely, yet appreciative. "I'm glad to be here. I want to understand this place and help if I can." She looked at him for a long moment, as if measuring his intentions. Then she nodded. "Very well. I will show you some things. Things not every human has the chance to see." Over the next few hours, Liara led Alex through her home and the surrounding area. The house seemed to pulse gently with life, almost as if it were an extension of her own energy. Walls shifted subtly, creating new rooms or pathways as needed. Floating lights guided them through the spaces, illuminating intricate carvings and symbols that Alex could not yet understand. "This home was created by my people generations ago," Liara explained. "It adapts to the needs of those who dwell within it. It is alive in its own way." Alex touched one of the floating lights, and it hovered closer, illuminating a symbol etched into the wall. "It feels alive," he said, "almost like it knows I'm here." Liara nodded. "It does. Everything here responds to life and energy. That is the way of my people. We live in harmony with our surroundings, not above them." As they moved outside, Alex marveled at the forest beyond. Trees with translucent leaves shimmered in the sunlight, and plants of every imaginable color seemed to hum with gentle energy. Streams of glowing water ran through the forest, and small creatures with delicate wings floated from branch to branch. "This planet is beautiful," Alex said, his voice filled with awe. "It's unlike anything humans have seen before." Liara smiled softly. "Yes, but beauty can also hide sorrow. I have been here many cycles alone, remembering what I have lost." Her eyes reflected the light of the forest, and Alex could see the grief she carried. He hesitated for a moment, unsure if he should speak. I can't imagine what that must be like," he admitted, "losing someone so close. But maybe I can help, even a little." She looked at him, her gaze penetrating but not unkind. "Help?" she asked softly. "By being here," Alex said. "By sharing time with you, maybe. Helping you feel less alone." Liara's lips curved in a faint smile. "You are kind, little human. That is rare in my experience. Very rare." They walked to a clearing where a small stream flowed, glowing softly in the morning light. Liara knelt by the water and dipped her hands in, demonstrating a gentle ritual of her people. The water pulsed and shimmered as it reacted to her touch. "This is a memory stream," she explained. "My people can store thoughts, experiences, and feelings in certain waters. By touching it, one can see echoes of the past images, emotions, even messages from those who are gone." Alex knelt beside her, dipping his hands into the glowing water. Images flashed before his eyes, a tall, graceful figure beside a smaller, glowing creature. Laughter echoing in the forest. Warmth, love, and loss intertwined. He realized these were memories of Liara's mate, the one she had lost. I can feel them," Alex whispered. "It's like they're still here." Liara nodded, her voice soft and reverent. "Yes, they are here, and they are gone. That is the balance we accept. But sometimes, it can be very heavy to bear alone." Alex felt a pang of empathy. "You don't have to bear it alone anymore," he said quietly. "Not if you don't want to." Her eyes softened, and for the first time, Alex saw a glimmer of hope behind her sorrow. "Perhaps I am not entirely alone now. The day passed with Alex learning more about Liara's world. She showed him how plants could respond to thought, how light could carry messages, and how the energy of the planet flowed through everything. Alex was amazed at the harmony of it all, and he felt a growing respect for Liara's wisdom and strength. As evening approached, the forest changed. The glowing plants became brighter, and soft lights floated through the trees like lanterns. Strange, musical hums filled the air, creating an almost magical atmosphere. Liara led Alex to a platform built high in the trees, overlooking the glowing forest below. "This is a place for reflection," she explained. "Here, we remember those we have lost, and we find peace." Alex looked out at the forest, feeling a sense of wonder and calm. "It's beautiful," he said. "I've never seen anything like it." Liara stood beside him, her hand brushing lightly against his. "This planet has seen much sorrow, but also resilience. Life continues even after great loss. That is what I hope to teach you, little human." He looked at her, realizing that despite her grief, she carried a quiet strength that inspired him. "I want to learn," he said. "I want to understand this world, and maybe help you." She smiled faintly, a small, genuine smile that warmed the space around them. "You are very human," she said. "You see with your heart, not just your eyes. That is rare, and it is comforting." Night fell, and the forest shimmered under the twin moons. Liara prepared a simple meal, and they ate together in quiet companionship. Alex felt a sense of belonging, unusual for someone who had always been alone in the vastness of space. After the meal, Liara invited him to participate in a ritual. She led him to a small chamber filled with softly glowing symbols. "This is how we connect with the echoes of those we have lost," she explained. "It is not magic, but it is powerful. You may see what I see, if you are willing." Alex nodded, curious and respectful. He placed his hands on the glowing symbols, and a soft hum filled the chamber. Images and emotions flowed through him, memories of Liara's mate, the joy they had shared, and the sorrow that remained. He felt the weight of loss, but also the beauty of life and connection. "It is overwhelming," he whispered, "but I understand. A little." Liara placed a hand on his shoulder, grounding him. "Yes, understanding is the first step. Compassion is the next. And presence. Presence is the greatest gift we can give." Alex realized that he had been given more than just a lesson about another world. He had been shown a way to connect, to care, and to bring light to someone's darkness. He felt proud, but also humbled. As the night deepened, they returned to the main home. Liara settled into her space, and Alex prepared to rest. "Thank you for today," she said softly. "You have brought warmth to a place that has been cold for too long. I should be thanking you." Alex replied, "For letting me see all this, for trusting me." Liara's eyes glimmered in the soft light. "Perhaps we are teaching each other, little human. Perhaps that is why you are here." Alex smiled, feeling the truth of her words. For the first time in a long while, he felt that being stranded on an alien planet was not a curse, but an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to make a difference. As he lay down to sleep, the forest outside pulsed softly with life. Liara whispered once more, her voice carrying through the room, "Stay, little human." "I hate sleeping alone." And Alex, exhausted but content, felt a strange and comforting sense of purpose. He was no longer just a human lost in space. He was a companion, a friend, and a presence that mattered to someone who had lived too long in solitude. The night was quiet, but the bond between them had grown stronger. To beings from different worlds, connected by trust, curiosity, and the fragile hope of companionship. And as Alex drifted into sleep, he knew that tomorrow would bring new lessons, new discoveries, and a chance to deepen a connection that was already changing both of their lives. The soft glow of the alien forest gave no warning of the danger approaching. Alex was tinkering with the controls of his small ship, trying to repair the damage from the crash, while Liara moved gracefully around her home, tending to her glowing plants and devices. The forest hummed quietly, but beneath that calm, a disturbance rippled through the air. Alex paused, sensing it instinctively. He looked toward the horizon where the forest thickened, and noticed shadows moving against the light. Strange vessels, small but fast, emerged from behind the trees. They weren't of Liara's people, nor had he seen their design before. His heart raced. "Liara," he said, pointing, "we have company, and I don't think they're friendly." Liara turned, her eyes narrowing as she assessed the threat. "They are raiders," she said softly. "They come for planets that are alone, untouched, easy to take. They do not care for life, they only seek resources." Alex felt a surge of determination. "Then we can't let them take your home. Not after everything you've shown me." Liara's eyes softened slightly. "I will help you, but we must act carefully. They will not give mercy." The raiders' ships landed lightly, their engines silent but threatening. Small figures emerged, armed with strange devices that could cut through the glowing plants as easily as air. Alex quickly ran back to his ship, scavenging parts and tools he could use. Liara followed him, bringing items of her own, glowing crystals, energy conduits, and strange devices that pulsed with alien power. "We can use the energy of the forest," she said. "It will confuse their sensors and slow them down. But you must act quickly." Alex nodded. He set to work immediately, improvising defensive systems with his human ingenuity. He connected his damaged ship to Liara's devices, creating a network that could emit bursts of energy. These bursts were harmless to life, but would scramble the raiders' communications and navigation. The first wave of raiders entered the clearing. They were surprised by the sudden pulse of energy, stumbling as their devices failed. Alex activated a series of traps. He had quickly rigged nets made from strengthened energy threads, glowing barriers that blocked paths, and small automated drones that flashed lights to confuse them further. Liara moved silently among the trees, guiding him. "To the left, use the energy stream, distract them with the light," she instructed. Her knowledge of the terrain and the force energy made her an invaluable ally. Alex felt a thrill of excitement mixed with fear. He had faced dangers in space before, but never so close to someone he cared about. "I won't let them harm you," he shouted. "Not here, not ever." The raiders regrouped and advanced again, this time more cautiously. Alex noticed their leader, a tall figure with sharp, mechanical armor, analyzing the defenses. The leader seemed intelligent, ruthless, and patient. Alex realized brute force alone would not win this fight. Strategy and cleverness were their best weapons. He signaled to Liara, and together they executed a plan. Alex lured a group of raiders into a narrow passage line with energy barriers. The barriers flashed brightly, confusing the intruders and slowing them down. Liara used her control over the force energy to create illusions of multiple defenders, making the raiders hesitate and miscalculate their steps. "This way," she whispered. "Guide them here, and the forest will protect us." Alex maneuvered the raiders exactly where she wanted. Then, with a carefully timed pulse from their combined devices, the raiders' weapons and sensors were completely disrupted. They stumbled blindly, unable to see or communicate, while Alex and Liara moved swiftly, dismantling the raiders' devices using a combination of human tools and alien technology. The battle was tense, and every second counted. Alex dodged a falling branch that cracked under the weight of a confused raider. Liara used her energy to create glowing barriers, pushing the attackers back without harming them. Despite their fearsome appearance, Alex realized the raiders were as much victims of their greed and poor planning as they were threats. Finally, the leader of the raiders tried to reach them, but Alex anticipated the move. Using a combination of energy pulses and his improvised tools, he created a barrier that forced the raider back. Liara used her control of the force energy to isolate him further, creating a glowing cage of vines and light. The leader struggled but could not escape. Breathing heavily, Alex looked at Liara. "I think we did it," he said, relief washing over him. Liara nodded, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the forest. "Yes, today, human, you have shown courage. You have shown ingenuity. You have protected more than a home, you have protected life." Alex felt the warmth in his chest, pride mixed with humility. "I couldn't have done it without you," he admitted. "Your knowledge, your connection to this place, it made all the difference." Liara smiled faintly, but the sadness in her eyes remained, softened by gratitude. And you reminded me that even in grief, even in solitude, one can find allies. One can find hope. They walked through the clearing together, surveying the aftermath. The raiders' ships were disabled, their devices scattered, and the forest hummed softly, as if approving of the victory. Liara touched one of the glowing trees, and it pulsed brighter in response. This forest. It has felt your presence, human, she said. It recognizes your courage. That is rare. Alex laughed softly, exhausted but exhilarated. I never imagined I'd be defending an alien home. And winning? Liara's eyes softened. Winning is not the word I would use. You protected life, and that is far more important. As night fell, the forest glowed even more brightly, the alien flora responding to their energy. Alex helped Liara repair minor damage to her home, while she guided him in using alien energy to stabilize the structures. Together, they worked silently, communicating without words at times, understanding each other through gestures, intuition, and shared effort. When the repairs were complete, they sat together on the platform overlooking the glowing forest. The twin moons rose above the horizon, casting a gentle light over the landscape. Alex felt a sense of peace he had never known. Despite the danger, the fear, and the uncertainty, he was here, alive, and connected to someone who needed him. Liara spoke softly, breaking the silence. Today, you showed bravery. You showed a quality my people admire. Humans are fragile in body, but strong in spirit. You reminded me of that. Alex smiled. I guess humans are capable of more than we know, and sometimes we just need a reason to try. Her gaze lingered on him, thoughtful and gentle. You are more than a reason, little human. You are a presence I did not know I needed. Alex felt a subtle warmth in his chest. Her words, simple yet profound, struck a chord deep within him. He realized that his presence here, unexpected, unplanned, was meaningful. Not because of heroics alone, but because he had chosen to stay, to care, and to act with intention. The forest hummed around them, soft and alive. Liara's hands glowed faintly as she tended to the energy of the platform, stabilizing it for the night. Alex watched her, understanding that the connection between them had grown stronger. It was not just trust, but mutual respect and companionship. Thank you, Alex, Liara said quietly, for standing by me, for protecting this home, for reminding me that life continues, even after loss. You don't need to thank me, Alex replied. I stayed because I wanted to, because it matters to me that you're not alone. Her lips curved in a soft, genuine smile. Then perhaps, you are teaching me as much as I am teaching you. Presence, courage, and companionship. These are lessons even a widow can learn anew. Night deepened, and Alex prepared to rest. He knew that the forest, though quiet now, could never be entirely safe, but for tonight, they had won. For the first time, Liara's home felt secure, alive not only with alien energy, but with the bond of two beings from different worlds. As he lay down, he felt Liara's gaze on him. Her voice, soft and melodic, whispered again, almost like a prayer, stay. Little human, I hate sleeping alone. Alex smiled faintly, closing his eyes. For the first time in weeks, he felt a profound sense of purpose. He was more than a survivor. He was a companion, a protector, and someone who mattered. And tomorrow would bring new challenges, but he knew, now, that he would face them not alone, but together with Liara. The twin moons shone over the forest, casting long, glowing shadows. Two figures, human and alien, sat quietly together, bound by trust, courage, and the beginnings of a friendship that would shape both of their lives. The next morning, the alien forest was calm, almost serene. The glow of the flora had softened with the rising sun, casting gentle light across the clearing. Alex stretched, still feeling the excitement and adrenaline from the previous day's encounter. Despite the victory, he knew they couldn't let their guard down completely. Liara was already moving gracefully around her home, tending to the plants and devices that had been slightly disturbed by the raiders. She paused when she noticed Alex watching her. You slept well? She asked softly. I did, he replied, smiling. The forest. It's so peaceful this morning. Almost like it's thanking us for protecting it. Liara nodded, her eyes reflecting the soft light. Perhaps it is. Or perhaps it simply recognizes that life continues. That is what matters most. Alex felt a warmth in his chest. In just a short time, he had grown to respect and admire her, not just for her wisdom, but for the quiet strength she carried despite her grief. "You're amazing, Liara," he said. "Even after everything you've been through, you still care so deeply about this place. And its life." Her gaze softened. "And you, little human, have reminded me that one does not need to face the world alone. Courage, compassion, these are not limited by species." They spent the morning repairing small damages to the home and the surrounding energy systems. Alex showed her how human technology could integrate with alien devices to create stronger defenses. And she taught him how to manipulate the energy of the forest itself. Together, they worked seamlessly, a team united by shared purpose. By midday, the immediate danger had passed, and the forest seemed to breathe around them in calm appreciation. Liara guided Alex to a small observation deck, a platform grown from the trees themselves, overlooking a glowing lake. The water shimmered with a soft, golden light, reflecting the sky and the twin moons even in daylight. "This lake is special," she explained. "It records the energy of life around it. Emotions, memories, hope, all leave traces here. It is a mirror of the heart." Alex knelt beside the water, watching the gentle ripples. "It's beautiful," he said, "almost like it's alive." Liara sat beside him, her long form glowing faintly in the reflected light. "It is alive in its own way. Life here has connected everything, everyone. That is why your presence mattered so much yesterday. You became part of the balance." Alex felt humbled. "I never thought I could make a difference here, or anywhere out there," he admitted. "But I see now that even small actions, they matter." Liara's eyes softened, reflecting both admiration and something more profound. "And your courage, your choice to stay, has given me hope. Something I thought I had lost forever." The hours passed, and Alex learned more about Liara's history and culture. She shared stories of her people, their achievements, their love, and their losses. Through it all, Alex realized how resilient her species was, and how much strength it took to survive sorrow while still cherishing life. "You know," Liara said quietly, "humans are unusual. Fragile in body, yes, but strong in spirit. You remind me of that strength." Alex laughed softly. "I guess we are, sometimes. But it helps to have someone to care about, someone who makes you want to be better." Liara looked at him with a gentle, almost wistful expression. "Perhaps that is why you are here, little human. Not by chance, but by choice. To remind me that life continues, and that one can find companionship even after loss." As evening approached, the forest glowed more brightly. The twin moons rose slowly, casting long reflections across the shimmering lake. Alex and Liara stood together, watching the peaceful scene. The tension of the past days melted into quiet calm. "Alex," Liara said softly, "you have brought life back to this place. Not just by defending it, but by being here, by being present." "I didn't do it for that," he replied, his voice quiet but firm. "I stayed because I wanted to, because you matter. And this world, it matters too." Liara's lips curved into a faint, warm smile. "Then perhaps we both have given each other something we needed. Companionship, courage, hope." Night deepened, and the glowing forest seemed to pulse with life, echoing the bond between them. Alex and Liara returned to the home, sharing a quiet meal prepared from the bounty of her world and supplies from his ship. They spoke softly, not needing words at times, understanding each other through gestures, glances, and presence. After the meal, Liara led Alex to a small chamber filled with softly glowing symbols. "There's one last thing I would show you," she said. "A way to connect with the echoes of the past. Not to grieve, but to understand and accept them." Alex followed her, placing his hands on the glowing symbols. Images appeared, memories of Liara and her lost mate, moments of joy, laughter, and love. But instead of pain, he now sensed acceptance, peace, and the enduring presence of hope. He realized that grief, while heavy, could coexist with new beginnings. Liara's voice was soft and melodic. You see, human, even after loss, life continues. Companionship can be found in unexpected ways. And courage. Courage is the gift we share when we care for one another. Alex nodded, feeling the truth of her words. I understand, he said quietly, and I'm grateful that I can be here to share this with you. She looked at him with eyes that reflected both starlight and gratitude. Then perhaps this is not the end of your journey here, little human. Perhaps it is only the beginning. As the night grew deeper, Alex prepared to sleep. Liara remained nearby, her presence comforting and gentle. She spoke softly, her voice carrying through the room. Stay. Little human. I hate sleeping alone. Alex smiled faintly, lying down with a sense of peace he had not known in weeks. He realized that he was no longer just a visitor or a survivor stranded on an alien planet. He was a companion, a presence that mattered, and someone who had brought hope and courage to a lonely heart. Liara watched him for a moment, her gaze lingering on the human who had become so important to her. She felt a warmth she had not known in a long time. For the first time in many cycles, she did not feel completely alone. The forest outside pulsed softly, the glowing plants and the shimmering lake reflecting the bond that had formed between them. Life, resilience, and connection were alive in the simplest acts, staying, caring, and choosing to be present. Days passed, and Alex continued to repair his ship, but he did not rush. He explored the forest with Liara, learning more about the planet's wonders, the harmony of life, and the lessons that came from understanding another being's grief. Together, they discovered hidden glades, pools that reflected past memories, and plants that responded to emotions. Through these discoveries, their bond deepened. Alex learned patience, empathy, and the quiet power of presence. Liara rediscovered hope, trust, and the warmth of shared companionship. They laughed together, learned together, and faced challenges together, though nothing could match the intensity of the day. They defended the home. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the forest, Alex and Liara stood on the platform overlooking the glowing lake. The forest was alive, pulsing with energy, a living testament to resilience and harmony. You have changed this place, Alex, Liara said softly. Not just with courage, but with your presence. You have reminded me that even after loss, one can find companionship, joy, and hope. Alex looked at her, feeling a deep connection that transcended words. And you've reminded me that life, even in the strangest places, with the strangest beings, is worth protecting, worth understanding, worth being part of. Liara smiled, a genuine warmth spreading across her face. Then perhaps our meeting was not by chance. Perhaps it was meant to be, a reminder that life continues and that even the smallest presence can make a difference. Alex nodded, feeling the truth of her words. He knew he could leave if he wished, but now he understood that this place, this being, had become a part of him. Staying was no longer just a choice, it was a commitment to care, to share, and to continue learning from this remarkable world. As night enveloped the forest, they returned to the home. The glowing plants lit their path, the forest humming softly with approval. Alex settled down, and Liara took her place nearby. The warmth of their bond filled the room, creating a space where loneliness could not survive. Liara's voice was soft, almost a whisper, carrying the weight of her gratitude and hope. Stay. Little human. I hate sleeping alone. Alex closed his eyes, smiling. I will, he replied softly. I will stay. For the first time in a long while, both human and alien felt complete, not because the world was free of danger, but because they had found trust, companionship, and the courage to face whatever came next. Together, the twin moons reflected on the glowing lake, casting gentle light over the peaceful forest. Life continued, resilient and bright, and two beings from different worlds shared it, side by side, bound by courage, trust, and the simple, enduring power of presence.